Welcome to the Starting Seeds Masterclass, where we will learn the best seed starting mix, containers to start your seeds, how to add fertilizer for your seedlings, up-potting seedlings to larger containers, and finally transplanting your seedlings. If you're not already a subscriber, this is a great time to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications to get all our future updates. I broke this video up into multiple sections so that you can get an idea on all the aspects of starting seeds from start to finish. So let's begin the masterclass. So why should you start your seeds yourself? Why not buy transplants at the garden center? Well, there are two reasons. Firstly, you can grow some very unique vegetables which are not found as transplants in your garden store. And secondly, it's a lot cheaper to start plants from seeds, especially if you're growing a lot of plants. So, when is a good time to start seeds? Avoid all the confusion and start seeds 6 to 8 weeks before your last frost date. Look it up on the web for your zip code. As an example, the last frost date in Irvine, California is 24th of February. So I start tomatoes, peppers, eggplants in the first week of January. Heat-loving plants like gourds, okra and cucumbers will be started in mid-February. And now let's begin with which container to use for seed starting. You can use any container that has drainage holes. These 6-cell seed starting containers are my favorite choice, and I have several lying around. I've used everything from egg cartons and plastic cups, and all of them work very well. If you're on a budget, instead of going to the garden section, you can pick up cheap plastic cups from Walmart for a fraction of the price of seed starting cells. These red 18-ounce cups work great, so do these colorful 16-ounce cups. Just note that larger cups like these are great, but also require additional seed starting mix, so keep that in mind when buying. Styrofoam cups work great too, but avoid them as plastic is much more reusable. Pick the lesser poison. One of the benefits of clear cups is that you can see the roots developing. Some people have asked me if algae is a problem, and I've not found it to be a significant problem at all. Seed starting pellets like these also work great. It basically has peat pellets, which you hydrate to expand. These work okay, but are much more expensive compared to the other options. Another great option for starting a lot of seedlings are these 72-cell trays, which fit into a standard 10 by 20 tray, also called a 10-20 tray. If you want to start a lot of seedlings, these work great. So all in all, there are a lot of options for the container to use, so just use whatever works best for you. Let's now move on to the options you have for seed starting mixes. You can use a ready-to-consume seed starting mix, like this Jiffy organic seed starting mix, which is basically a pre-mixed seed starting mix and gives great results. However, you can also make your own seed starting mixes, and it's extremely easy. The first option is to just use straight up coco coir. This works well, but let's step it up a notch further. For even better results, mix in perlite. This is coarse perlite, a very light volcanic rock. Use 1 part perlite and then add in 2 parts of coconut coir. The coconut coir helps preserve the moisture, and the perlite helps keep the roots airy. So we are essentially mixing two elements that have contrasting properties, but this is what creates a great seed starting mix. Mix in a handful of gypsum in the mix. Gypsum is a mineral that adds calcium, which is very important for the growth of seedlings. What you do not want is any soil from your garden or the ground, or any soil that has organic matter like compost mixed in. There is a caveat to mixing organic matter in seed starting mixes, and I'll discuss it soon. Mix up your seed starting mix very well, and you have a great, high quality, nice seed starting mix ready to use. Now you can substitute peat moss for coco coir. However, peat moss is hydrophobic, which means that it initially resists water. You have to mix in the peat moss and water thoroughly and leave it for at least 2 hours to get a peat-based seed starting mix ready. You can now see that all the water has been soaked in, and now the peat will do a great job of holding on to the water. The next step is to pack in the seed starting mix into the seed starting cells. Just press it lightly with your fingers and compact the mix lightly. Now remember the caveat of mixing compost I discussed? If you're mixing compost or worm castings into your seed starting mix, that's perfectly fine. However, since compost can give rise to fungal growth, which in turn invites fungus gnats, these can kill your seedlings. So I avoid using organic materials in seed starting mixes. However, if you do want to use organic matter, fill in 3/4 of the seed starting cells with this mix and then top it off with some pure coco coir or peat moss on the top. This will prevent fungus growth on the surface and you will thank yourself for doing that. The next step is to sow your seeds. Save your own seeds or buy seeds from a reputable company. Sow 1 or 2 seeds in each seed starting cell. You can either thin them later or up-pot them into separate containers when they grow. The depth that you bury your seeds in the seed starting mix is equal to the diameter of the seed. So for small seeds, just bury them slightly. For larger seeds, you can bury them slightly deeper. Once the seeds are sowed, you can keep them in any tray. What you see here is a 10 by 20 tray, also called a 10-20 tray. Keep the seed starting cells in this tray. It's optional, however highly recommended, that you use a humidity dome to cover your seedlings. Most seeds need a warm and humid environment to germinate. Keep the seeds indoors or under a grow light. Those seeds do not require light to germinate, they need light as soon as they pop out. So I always keep my seed cells about 2 or 3 inches away from a light source. If you're starting seeds in an outdoor greenhouse, use a heat mat to speed up germination. Most seeds germinate at a temperature of 70 to 80 degrees Fahrenheit. Make sure you add water at the bottom of the seed starting cells to keep the seedlings moist till they germinate. As soon as the seeds germinate, they need light. Use a grow light that simulates the light spectrum of the sun. If you have moderate temperatures, it's best to keep the seedlings outdoors, where they will get plenty of light. An outdoor greenhouse works very well for this. If you do not provide enough light, you will get leggy seedlings, and they may be so weak that they do not recover to grow into healthy plants. The seedlings have enough nutrition from the seeds or cotyledons for about 2 weeks. When the first true set of leaves appear, as you see here, they will need nutrients to grow. There are many options to add fertilizer or nutrients. The easiest and the most effective method is to use worm tea or compost tea. Worm tea provides nutrients and will not burn your plants or your seedlings. Pour diluted worm tea to the base of your seed starting tray, never from the top, so as not to disturb the delicate seedlings. If you have seeds in a larger container, pour carefully at the base of the seedling. Fish emulsion also works great as a fertilizer for seedlings. However, it does have a lingering smell that some of you may not like. If you want to avoid organic materials, or if you're a vegan or do not want to use animal products, or just don't like the smell of fish emulsion or the other organic products you use, you can use a salt-based fertilizer. This product that you see here is specifically formulated for seedlings with a high phosphorus ratio which encourages strong root growth. Use this at half strength. Do not overdo it. The instructions on this product mention mixing half a capful in a gallon of water, and we will reduce that in half. We will mix half a capful in 2 gallons of water, and then pour it at the base of your seed starting cells. Always make sure to use any nutrient solution at half strength for seedlings. Let's now talk about up-potting seedlings to larger containers. Use a good quality potting mix. Here I have some leftover seed starting mix, but we will enrich it with nutrients first. Add worm castings. A handful will provide enough nutrients. Add in an organic fertilizer with beneficial bacteria, and you're all set. You can up-pot seedlings to save time while your garden is being prepared. It also helps you split 2 seedlings into different containers. And I've done this with many vegetable seedlings and they work great. Another problem that up-potting can solve is if your seedlings are leggy. You can up-pot your seedlings, plant them a little deeper, and they will grow into great plants. Now your seedlings have all grown up and are looking great. The final step is to transplant them. Once your last frost date has passed, work your soil well, add organic matter, and start transplanting your seedlings. You can push out the seedlings from the bottom of the seed starting cells and use your fingers to remove the seedling, and then give it its permanent home. Make sure you water your seedlings, and you're ready to grow the best plants in your garden. So there we have it, folks. That was our episode on starting seeds from start to finish. If you like this video, please hit the thumbs up button. And if you have any questions, post them in the comments box below. We'll see you again soon. Happy gardening.